The Great War Fallout series. Imagine waking up the morning after one day of nuclear strikes wiped out the planet's major cities. In Fallout, October 23rd, 2077 saw the US and China launch every warhead they had in a single catastrophic volley. Within hours, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Beijing, and Shanghai were turned to rubble and radiation storms. Millions died instantly, survivors faced starvation, radiation sickness, and the collapse of government, law, and order. What follows in the wasteland is total chaos. Vaults, underground shelters were meant to protect a few, but most people were left to fend for themselves. Over decades, mutants, raiders, and desperate communities rose from the ashes, fighting over resources like clean water, food, and pre-war technology. The Great War's one-day exchange created a world where every drop of rain can kill, every fall into a ruined building might be your last, and the simple act of lighting a campfire carries danger. Fallout's bleak setting rests on that single decision to rain nukes down in a matter of hours. No peace talks, no backup plans, just instant destruction. The human cost, measured in billions of lives lost and the generations forced to survive in irradiated ruins, makes the Great War gaming's harshest warning about pushing geopolitics past the brink. The Reaper War, Mass Effect Trilogy. Every 50,000 years, synthetic starships called Reapers wipe out all advanced organic life in the galaxy. In Mass Effect, Commander Shepard discovers this cycle just as it begins again in the 22nd century. The Reapers arrive from dark space, using planet-sized dust shields and devastating beams to glass entire worlds in minutes. Their goal isn't conquest, but extinction. They see all organic civilizations as a failed experiment and claim genocide as mercy. First, they strike human colonies like Terra Nova and Elysium Prime, killing billions in a flash. As Shepard's crew races to unite humans, Turians, Asari, and other races, the Reapers hunt down any resistance. Cities burn, fleets fall, and entire star systems scream in silence. Shepard's fight becomes a desperate gamble. Recruit every ally, research ancient Prothean technology, and rally fleets to confront the Reapers in a final showdown. Along the way, you learn the Reapers reanimate extinct species as husk soldiers, turning once proud races into weapons against the living. The Reaper War isn't just another space battle, it's the ultimate test of unity against an unstoppable machine force. The sheer scale, billions dead, entire cultures lost, makes this war Mass Effect's darkest warning about what happens when the galaxy underestimates an ancient enemy. Human Covenant War, Halo series. From 2525 to 2552 AD, humanity faced near annihilation in a brutal religious crusade led by the Alien Covenant. Believing humans to be heretics, the Covenant launched wave after wave of attacks on Earth and its colonies, leaving shattered cities and scorched fields behind. When the Covenant glassed Reach, humanity's military heart, no one believed Earth would be next until Covenant ships appeared in the skies above New Mombasa, Singapore, and Chicago. Starship fleets clashed in orbit and on the ground. Spartans like Master Chief were the last line of defense, fighting through alien soldiers called elites, grunts, and hunters to hold back the tide. The war's turning point came when humans discovered the Covenant's real goal. Activating the Halo rings would destroy all sentient life. Forced into an alliance with defected elites, humans launched a daring counterstrike on the Ark, the control center for the rings. After battles on the rings themselves and a final push to stop the activation, humanity survived barely. The Human Covenant War left billions dead, entire planets radioactive or glassed, and human expansion halted for generations. It stands out because of its desperate underdog story of humanity fighting impossible odds and the moral complexity of allying with former enemies. The war's scale and the cost in lives shine through every ruined battlefield and half-sunken city you see in Halo. The Horus Heresy, Warhammer 40,000. In the 31st millennium, the Emperor of Mankind's dream of a united human galaxy shattered when his favorite son, Warmaster Horus, betrayed him. The Horus Heresy spread across hundreds of worlds as Horus and several Space Marine legions turned traitor, slaughtering loyalist forces and civilians alike. This civil war wasn't one battle, but countless wars on countless planets. Loyal Space Marines led desperate defenses of key worlds. Istvan 3 and 5 saw betrayals so gruesome that loyal legions were bombarded by virus bombs and left to die on poisoned ground. Noble Primarchs faced their brothers in duels that shook entire star systems. The loyalties of entire legions splintered, technology and secrets were stolen, and Chaos Gods whispered dark promises to traitors. On Terra itself, Horus's forces breached the Imperial Palace's defenses, forcing the Emperor into a final confrontation aboard Horus's flagship. After a titanic duel, the Emperor triumphed but was mortally wounded, entombed on the Golden Throne to sustain his life and humanity's future. The Horus Heresy created the grim darkness of Warhammer 40,000's present era. It explains why the Imperium is paranoid, brutal, and fractured. Brother fighting brother, whole planets lost to burnings and warp-tainted horrors. That scale of betrayal and bloodshed remains the universe's worst war. The Third War, Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos. The Burning Legion returned to Azeroth for the second time, bringing the Third War. Their goal was to summon the demon lord Archimonde and burn the world. The Scourge, undead servants led by Kel'Thuzad and Arthas, fell Lordaeron before venturing south. Alliance forces under King Tyrannus and Jaina Proudmoore tried to hold the north but were forced to retreat. The Horde, led by Thrall, sailed to Kalimdor and joined forces with humans and night elves. Every battle saw forests ablaze, cities sacked, and ancient races crushed under demon hooves. The war's climax was the defense of Mount Hyjal. Night elf druids, human mages, orc warriors, and even corrupted trolls united to hold Archimonde at the World Tree Nordrassil. Fire and fell energies clashed in a battle that reshaped the land, leaving Hyjal scarred and the tree dying. Ultimately, Archimonde was defeated, but the cost was massive. The Third War reshaped every faction's destiny. Lordaeron lay in ruin, the Alliance-Horde alliance dissolved into suspicion, and Night Elves retreated deeper into their forests. The war's horror, demonic armies, undead betrayals, and world-threatening magic set the stage for all future conflicts in Azeroth. Fourth War, Alliance vs. Horde, World of Warcraft, Battle for Azeroth. Battle for Azeroth kicked off what fans call the Fourth War, pitting Alliance against Horde in a brutal fight over Azerite. After Sylvanas' burning of Lordaeron, wiping out civilians in a genocidal move, King Anduin led Alliance forces to siege her capital. That siege broke the fragile peace, and both sides poured troops onto Kul Tiras and Zandalar. Every fight over Azerite, this world-shaping metal, turned into all-out slaughter. Orcs, elves, humans, and trolls tore through jungles, sailed into stormy seas, and waged war in city streets. Old friends became enemies. Some Horde soldiers wondered if Sylvanas had gone too far. Some Alliance champions wondered if Anduin's push for justice had become reckless. Battles like Stromgarde's Fall and Drustvar's Haunted Woods left scars across the continents. Raids like Uldir forced everyone to unite against a rising old god threat, but the war never fully ended. The conflict reached fever pitch when both factions made desperate moves to control Azerite, and every ounce of metal meant new weapons and warships. By the time the war wound down, Azeroth was left in ruins. Heroes from both sides realized they'd spilled too much blood. The Fourth War proved how easily old grudges can flare into new wars, and how the line between justice and revenge can blur until heroes and villains look the same. Terran-Zerg Wars, StarCraft series. Every StarCraft game turns into Terran versus Zerg, an endless cycle of invasion and desperation. The Zerg swarm, driven by hive mind instincts, overruns planet after planet in a flood of claws and teeth. Kerrigan's Queen of Blades leads countless broods across Koprulu, turning worlds into breeding grounds for albino horrors. Terrans, the human colonists and soldiers, fight back with bunkers, siege tanks, and nuclear strikes. They build great megabases under fire, only to see Zerg bursts tear through their ramparts. Each victory feels temporary when the Zerg mutate, evolve, and hit back harder. Key battles like Mar Sera's defense, Char's volcanic wastes, and Shakura's twilight fields show how closely matched these races are. The Zerg's biological diversity clashes with Terran engineering. Infested Terrans and Protoss Templar join the mix, but the core war stays Terran versus Zerg. When Kerrigan breaks free of the Queen's control and then comes back to crush her former masters, it deepens the conflict. The wars push Terrans into uneasy alliances with the Protoss and rebels within their ranks. By the end of the trilogy, every world feels torn apart by endless swarms and desperate last stands. These wars remind players that when two unstoppable forces collide, one of flesh and instinct, the other of steel and strategy, no place is safe, and victories are always just breathing room before the next swarm emerges. Galactic Civil War, Star Wars video games. Countless Star Wars games let players join the rebels against the Empire in a classic underdog fight for freedom. From X-Wing missions bombing Death Stars to Battlefront skirmishes on Hoth's icy plains, the Rebel Alliance waged insurgencies on countless worlds. Every planet tells a story of fight and loss. Rebels sneak past stormtroopers in Coruscant's alleys, then fly through asteroid fields to sabotage Star Destroyers. Imperial officers storm Bespin's Cloud City, and Ewok warriors aid rebels in Endor's forests. No world is too remote, no base too secure. Heroes like Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa, and fledgling pilots become symbols of hope. Every victory destroying a Star Destroyer, rescuing prisoners, stealing Death Star plans gives rebels a spark, but the Empire counters with ruthless blockades, extermination orders, and super weapons. Gamers feel the stakes in every mission. You learn to coordinate X-Wings and Y-Wings, sneak through stealth sections on Coruscant, then charge AT-AT walkways on Hoth. The back and forth builds tension until the Battle of Endor flips the war. The Galactic Civil War in these games isn't just about big explosions, it's about small victories, uncovering secret data, saving a squad, sparking rebellions across star systems. Playing through it reminds us why hope can win even when the odds seem impossible. The Locus War, Gears of War. On Emergence Day, the Locust Horde burst from underground tunnels, killing a quarter of humanity within hours. In Gears of War, you join Marcus Fenix and Delta Squad fighting back. Cities fall to swarms of chittering monsters, buildings crumble, and every street is stained with Locust blood. Humanity's military, the COG, sets up defenses in Jacinto, Halvo Bay, and New Hope. You ride the Hammer of Dawn satellite weapon to burn swarms from the sky, but the Locust adapts. They send heavy Brumacs and armored Therons that crush bunkers and shred troops. Every campaign mission shows a world slipping into darkness. You blow up tunnels in E-Day's aftermath, then ride rails into hollowed-out canyons filled with grubs. Refugee camps become death traps, and COG soldiers fall one by one. After years of stalemate, humans launch Operation Hollow Storm, dropping into the Hollow and fighting to destroy the Locust source. You push through Locust fortresses, facing wave after wave. At the end, the remaining COG forces fire the Hammer of Dawn in a desperate final strike that scorches the planet's surface. The Locust War ends with billions dead. Whole landscapes turn to ash. It shows how an enemy lurking beneath your feet can spark a crisis that never truly ends, and how survival can mean fighting monsters you barely understand. The Great War, the Elder Scrolls. In the Second Great War, the Aldmeri Dominion High Elves and their Thalmor agents invade the Empire to enforce a ban on Talos worship. Imperial legions clashed with Dominion forces across Cyrodiil's fields and Hammerfell's deserts. Key battles rage at Coral, Cheydinhal, and on the Nibin Bay's shores. The battle for the Imperial City sees attackers breaching walls, burning buildings, and forcing defenders to fall back. Imperial heroes like Legate Joffrey and General Tullius hold lines, but the Dominion's Falmer troops and magic-wielding elves grind them down. Hammerfell refuses to fall. Red Guards launch guerrilla strikes in Alik'r Desert and ambush supply convoys in Palm Valley. Their desert knowledge turns every dune into a trap. Eventually, an uneasy armistice with the Red Guards frees the Empire to face the Dominion at Kvatch and around the White Gold Tower. Despite repelling the Dominion from Cyrodiil, the Empire signs the White Gold Concordat, giving the Thalmor political power and forcing the worship of Talos underground. The treaty wounds the Empire's honor and leads to civil strife in Skyrim years later. The Second Great War reshapes Tamriel. It throws its people into unrest, fuels nationalist movements, and shows how religious and political conflicts can tear an empire apart even when its armies hold the field. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe for more videos like this one, and stay tuned.